We are live. We're going to give it a minute so that we are streaming everywhere. Let the robots do their work. And I think we're probably fine. All right. I'm going to kick it off. So, hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Wine Wednesday. I'm your host, Jana, co-founder of dVIN Labs and certified wine geek. I'm also your guide for today's deep dive into, I think, one of Europe's real hidden gems as a region. So if you're a real wine person, you will already obviously know the R region in Germany. But a lot of people don't know, and I think it's going to be really interesting to talk about it today. We're going to be diving into Pinot Noir. It's not the only thing that grows in R, but I'm drinking Pinot, and that is kind of the main focus. But for anyone who doesn't know, our valley is Germany's northernmost red wine region. Steep terrace vineyards that are like clinging on volcanic slate soils all along the Our River. So we're going to dive into that. We have a special guest, as I'm sure you have noticed, in the middle of the frame here. We have a winemaker with us today. Hi, Lucas.
Hi everybody.
And of course, you recognize my kind of co-conspirator and co-founder, Dave Garrett, the tech brain behind the bottle at dVIN Labs. How excited are you for this one, Dave? We don't always get.
I'm very excited. I was excited this morning to learn that that they actually make red wine in Germany. So good to know, and we'll figure it out from there.
I roll. Great. So we don't just have any winemaker. We have actually one of the region's rising stars among us. So Lucas, we're so happy to have you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're sitting right now, first of all?
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks. I'm sitting in my vineyard. You might see it. We call it Einzelfahrt single post system, so it's very traditional. Yeah, and you might see that it's very steep here. So actually, I'm sitting, yeah, it's one of the most iconic pictures here, sitting in a steep vineyard. Nearly 80% of the wine growing regions are steep slopes, and I focus on terrace seed Pinot Noir vineyards.
All right, and tell us a little bit about how you got into wine. Is Sermon? I mean, I know, but I'm going to pretend I don't know. I know Dave and I are both drinking it. So tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into wine. Is it a family business, or did you just decide that you're crazy and you want to walk up and down those super steep slopes all day?
Yeah, so it's I would say it was love on the second view, because it's I'm the fourth generation, to be honest. So it's like a kind of family business, but both of my parents died the last year. So actually, I'm on my own and my employees right now. But I would say it's a family business, and I was in the vineyard since I was a child. So I grew up with the grapes and making wine. I love the smell of the yeast, but it was more or less, it was always work. So it felt like work, and I was like, what to do after school, and yeah, so I went studying, but yeah, I just went studying because I didn't know what to do else. So it's, it was a decision, but not out of the deepest heart. And then I went, during my studies, I went into the sports business. In the marketing, I was in natural bodybuilding. I managed some of models, and it's crazy because I didn't drink any wine for like 1.5 years during my studies, and I studied winemaking. So
Never heard a
yeah.
winemaker say that before. That is a first.
Yeah. Then I think it was in 14. Yeah, I was in 14 when my mom first became cancer, and my dad became a heart attack, and then I went back to the winery, and then I had to be the chef. I had to be the junior chef, and I started working the way they did. So first I was just in the vineyard, then I went to to the cellar, created the wines, and in 17, my dad said and my uncle said, they both said, okay, now it's your job, it's your turn. So I took it over in 19, and I would say since 2018, it's the only thing I want to do right now.
I've got your first vintage right here.
Yeah, 19 is the first vintage where I made my own decisions. Yeah.
Where I made my own decisions. That sounds like a life thing. But yeah, in 2019, I grew up.
How many hectares of vineyards do you have planted?
So when I took it off, the R has 520. So Germany has 100,000. So it's quite small. It's one of the smallest, and I started with 7.5, and now I'm 12.5. So I grew 5 hectares because I focused on the single vineyard sites. So we have some große Gewächslagen, you might call it Grand Cru, and it was I think in one of the first years I started dreaming about once making a wine out of every single Grand Cru on the R, and actually I'm collecting.
Nice. That's a good goal. That's also a good thing to collect. We're collecting wine. You're collecting Grand Cru vineyards, so that's another level.
Yeah.
Nice life. Awesome. Okay, so I mean, you're sitting in the vineyard. I don't know which vineyard you're in, but I assume, knowing the R, that you turn your camera and we're gonna be like, oh, are you in one of the? Yeah, show us.
Yeah, I'm checking if I can turn the camera, but I think not.
But actually turn your phone. I know
but you can see.
Oh, yeah.
This is Avala Rosenthal, so it's at the end of the valley, and this vineyard is 105 years old, so very old. It's planted with Portuguesa, so it's not Pinot Noir. Sorry.
No, that's cool.
This Portuguesa was a big thing on the R Valley before the Pinot Noir, and before the Portuguesa we were mostly white. So the history of the R is very interesting and not as it might be, as you might think. And one thing is that I don't want to put some vineyards out. So because usually you would say, okay, the yield here is just 15 hectoliters, so it's quite low, and the wine has to cost like €100 a bottle. But for me, winemaking is also about historic background and also about the culture, and that's the reason I leave these vineyards as they are and try to do my best to get as many bottles as possible. But it doesn't really count if it's just 3 or 4 bottles.
Right. I mean, we can drink them, but I'm sure that would be the end goal. That's scarcity, though, right, Dave?
Exactly. Well, I asked Bacchus about this wine that I'm drinking.
So wait, Lucas,
and I just posted it in the Twitter chat. But what it keeps saying over and over again is incredibly rare. Yeah. Incredibly rare. So that there's like 6 bottles in the whole world that are on Wine Searcher. So and that's funny because I have 6 bottles at home. So it's funny.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing about single vineyard wines here is it's just 1 or 2 barrels. So you have 300 or 600 bottles on each vineyard, and so it's not possible to distribute to all over the world.
Yeah, that's fair. I visited you and we tasted from some barrels, and I'm going to pull it up in a minute because I did go through my photos to try and find our history on Instagram. It's been a while. I guess it was.
Oh.
I think it was maybe 2019 or something. We were younger, but we weren't cooler. I think we're cooler today.
I don't know when it was. 19? You really?
I think so, because I had just moved to Dusseldorf. So now I'm just around the corner. R is like around the corner.
1 hour, 1.5 hour drive. Yeah, if it's busy.
It's good. It's good. So hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. Look at this. There we are. Oh,
cute.
oh man.
It's quite nice.
Yeah, look at that.
Maybe I'm 14 at on the picture or 15.
Me too. I think me too. Yeah. Anyway, gems. But I just remember I got to give you props because when I did my first wine harvest or grape harvest, I did it in Germany, but I did it in Franconia. And I, very comparably steep slopes on the Steckenstein. And I just, after the first week, I couldn't walk. I was like, done. And then we went for 7 more weeks and I was in the best shape of my life, but makes more sense now. The bodybuilder turned winemaker from our
kind of this, yeah. I think I got some goat genes or something like this. So there's a saying that the guys on the R, they always have one leg shorter than the other because they have to walk the steep slopes. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, so family roots. We know that you're sitting in a vineyard right now with Portuguese are planted, which is really cool. Like that is actually so cool, and I think that says a lot for you as a winemaker, but also for R. That is not just. I always think about Spätburgunder, which for anyone listening to this or watching this who doesn't know what Spätburgunder is, it's the German word for Pinot Noir. So people who know the R Valley will know that it is very high quality, incredibly puristic. I know Lucas, your wines, every time I've tasted them, they're full of energy and they're really, I find your style personally is quite like pure. What is how would you describe our wines in general and then yours in comparison? What makes yours?
Ooh, in 2 sentences, difficult.
I didn't
Really.
limit it to 2 sentences.
The R style, I think the R has been at the right spot at the right time. We had the German red wine wonder in the 90s or ending 80s. And at this time we had, I think, 85% of the region was planted with Spätburgunder. But there was also a guy called Mr. Parker, and he gave he gave some points at the wines, and he was pointing quite high for full-bodied Bordeaux, Côte d'Iron, etc. So the role models for the hour was like Bordeaux. So the guys first tried because the traditional barrel here is Fooder, so it's 1,000 liters.
Big boys.
But at the middle of the 80s, they first tried barrels from Bourgogne, from Bordeaux. So the wines were very oaky, had some vanilla touch. They tried to maximize the ripeness to its fullest. So each gram of sugar counts. And then, because in Germany we are allowed to add sugar to increase the alcohol level, they had like 13 natural alcohol and then added 1.5, so they had 13.5. And everything was, I would say, also Parkenized. And Parkenized. And I grew up without Robert Parker, so I know that he's a very good wine taster, and I know that he's giving points for volume wines. But in my opinion, Pinot Noir is a variety which stands for elegance, complexity, but it's not that full mouth of wine. It's more. You also have a depth, but it's more like an athlete. Yeah, I would say like an athlete.
Yeah.
And so my Pinots are, I would say, totally different. The Vinum wrote last year or the year before that my wines are tasting after the R just at the second taste. So I would say it's a mixture of, my wine style is a mixture of everything I've learned, I've read, I've drank. So the Pinots have now 11.5 alcohol. So I stopped chaptalizing. I make like short fermentation, just about 7 days. long cold maceration, and I add lots of whole bunches into the
Nice.
mash. So yeah, it's a mixture of everything.
Dave, I saw you looking for your wine map. Did you find
I don't have a map of Germany.
I knew you would, but you have
I need
puzzle.
a map of Germany.
You have a puzzle, and you need, maybe you can like put it on a. I know I gave Dave for Christmas. I gave him a region, like not a region,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
German wine country map. So it's like all the regions and everything. There it is. Is it
Ah.
Unopened?
You little shit.
Cruel.
Well, now that I have this, now that I've opened this bottle,
yeah,
I'll drink this and I'll put it together.
there we go. I want to see proof of that tomorrow. Very good. Okay, Lucas, you were talking about chaptalization. I'm sure Dave, I'm sorry. I feel like
I'm listening.
Everything, but I know you probably had a lot of comments when Parker came up, and I'm sure you've got lots to say. Sorry. One question though.
It's all good. Go.
Did you ever chaptalize? Or did you as a winemaker never add sugar? Because I mean, it's the northernmost region in Germany, so I can understand why there was the idea to need to or want to add sugar previously, but like, did you ever do that?
Yeah, sure. I the first years I had also like an aim for the alcohol level.
Yeah, okay.
So it was like, because there was a saying in Germany, if a red wine doesn't have like 13 or 13.5 alcohol, it's not a red wine.
That's why I love that you're at 11 and a half now, and that's wicked. Like, that's so great.
And the following years, I just, because I have a very hot fermentation, I do everything I ferment is with natural yeast or with sparkling yeast. So I don't want any cold fermentation flavors in my wines. And so because I ferment the natural way, I try to increase the population of the yeasts as much as possible. And so I need the heat in the middle of the fermentation. So it's up to 35 degrees. And because of this, I lose lots of alcohol. So like 1.5 volume. So you can imagine what I do is I have like harvesting for 12.5 and then I lose 1.5. And the last years I added these 1.5 naturally lost alcohol. That felt for me okay, but last year I said, okay, fuck off, I just stop. Why should I add something that doesn't count and that I don't need?
Yeah, feels like a true identity then. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it felt more pure and more low intervention. And I think because for me I started just 5 or 6 years ago, so I'm quite on my way, and I just started making wine, and so I'm changing year by year to get closer to my perfect imagination of pure Pinot Noir from the R. That's it.
Well, like I said at the beginning, rising star winemaker here. It's all I hear about. Whenever people are talking about your name always comes up. So that's a huge, huge compliment. There's a lot of competition in R. There's so much great wine in the R. So
yes,
you're doing really good. Really
good. I would say the average quality level is quite high.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy, and we have some really nice producers like Mayonnaise who reinvented themselves. We have like nearly biodynamical working Bertrand Baltes with a very reductive style. So I would say if you love Pinot, you have to visit the R.
Yep, I agree. What do you think, Dave?
I'm in. I'm coming to visit in July.
Okay, so that's it. We have an appointment.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, actually, I won't be there, but you gotta go, Dave. And I have a question for you now, Dave. Do you think the fact that you didn't open your German puzzle makes me think that you don't deserve to get Lucas's wine at Villa Vinoteca or whatever in Barcelona? So what makes you think, you guys deserve it in Spain, or should we keep it all over here?
I can be the ambassador. I'll be the biggest cheerleader here. I'll lead some tastings. We'll start a movement.
Dave's a very good wine cheerleader. He happens to know pretty much everybody in the industry, so he's a good guy to have on your side. Good guy to have.
I like it.
Open the cellar door.
And plus, this is going to be really, really good. I'm having some tapas tonight. Like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah. So what are you drinking right now, Dave? Which wine do you have?
I have the 2022. I'm going to call it a
Can't see it.
Spatzenberger under worst Fergart.
The what? The what?
Oh God. I'm gonna get that as a clip, and we're gonna definitely have that in a
I
little.
was hoping for nice pronunciation. So what?
Come on.
What
I mean, it's basically Pinot, right? It's
Hold it
Pinot.
up. Hold it up.
That's all we have to know. It's Pinot.
Hold it up really close.
Spatzenberger per worst Tingret.
No, nearly. Yeah, it's called Vineyard. Vineyard.
Yeah, it's spelled just like that, so it makes sense.
Okay.
All right. And I have two bottles here that are very, very special that I didn't want to open. So I am cheating so hard on this tasting because like I am drinking a Pinot, but I'm actually drinking a Sonoma Pinot because I can't open these bottles. Like they're just it's not happening yet. So I have the Bella Bianca 2020. This is a Spätburgunder Pinot Blanc. Or sorry, Blanc de Noir, sorry. And then I've got the 2019. Have you noticed the labels? There's something going on. There's like they're a little muddy. So, Lucas, do you want to give a little background about why these bottles are probably so special and why I don't want to open them?
Yeah. So we had in 21, we had in July, 14th of July, a big flood. I think it was in 90 countries in the television. So it was a big catastrophe. 134 people died. Thousands of people lost their homes, also me. And
Wow.
my winery and everything I earned was directly next to the R. So we are living next to the R. We have quite a nice view. We can hear the river at the night, the birds, and all the animals that are living there. But at this time we had a flood 10 meters high, and this destroyed everything. So I had like all my machines, my vinotheque, the living rooms of my parents, my private living rooms, and of course lots of wine. And 15,000 bottles were muddy because they were on stock in the cellar. So my 20 Pinot Noir, they all are gone by the flood. So yeah, but I had some bottles left, as I said, 15,000 bottles, and they were all muddy, and they were crazy fast sold. We had like a big campaign.
Yep, I remember.
Flute wine. It was called flute wine, so flood wine. And out of this, I think you have bottles from my private flood package.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't even like. Oh, it's so even I picked them up and it's like it's so emotional. I remember watching the news when all of that was happening. I mean, because we're in Dusseldorf, we're right around the corner, and I can remember all of the like Conrad and I were.
Yeah, so we had like 300 millimeters of rain in 24 hours. So it's like half of the rain we have in the whole year, and the soil was already soaked from the days before when it also rained.
Yeah.
And we have lots of bridges here, so yeah, many reasons for that height of water. And during this flood, lots of these bottles were produced. Let's say like this.
Right. So I don't know, when should I open those bottles? It has to be a super special occasion, but like never maybe, or that would be a pity. Like you as the winemaker, what do you suggest that I do with these two bottles?
To be honest, I would drink them.
Like, let's drink them together then.
Yeah,
like,
yes, of course. Yeah, it's funny because I'm every 2 months I'm in Düsseldorf, so
come on over. Hey,
Um,
over.
no, many wines are stored in the cellar for a special moment,
Yeah.
and many wines die because of waiting. So I really prefer
We'll drink 'em.
enjoying, and that's the reason I'm a winemaker. I make people happy. Okay, it's not me, it's the alcohol mostly, but I create wine for nice evenings with your friends, and I'm very happy about my customers because I would say 99.9% are enjoying a cultivated wine and not a wine out of factory or so. You've seen it. It's everything is made by hand, yeah, I'm very happy, and it's a pleasure to be a winemaker here in this region.
Okay, I mean that was a great answer, Lucas. Damn.
Well, I'm looking forward to visiting. I'll bring some. I'll tell you what. I'll bring some like really good Spanish olives and jamon and cheese, and you bring the wine, and we'll see if we can put something together. Late July, I'll be there. I'm bringing my family.
All are invited. I really love people who enjoy good food and good wine. So happy welcomed.
Okay, now I know you've only got 2 more minutes, Lucas. Dave and I are going to stick around and geek out about a few things, but I know Lucas only has a couple more minutes. I wanted to do a speed round. So, are you ready? You're going to have to answer this fast, okay?
Okay.
No pressure. If you had to drink one of your wines for the rest of your life, and only one, which would it be?
It's Gypsy One. It's a rosé. It sounds crazy, but it's a rosé, and it's a cuvée out of all my Grand Crus. 12 hours of cold maceration, then directly pressed in old barrels, fermented on the full lees for 9 months. Slow filtration, added just a hint of sulfur, and then ready to drink like 10 years.
Sounds good. I'm in. Okay, I got 2 more for you. R or Burgundy, who does it better?
Ooh, I'm the chef of the wine marketing on the R's, so it's not easy to answer, but I have to be fair. The combination of elegance and power in Burgundy is outstanding. So sorry, but
Ooh,
I have to say Burgundy.
Interesting. Okay, last one. There's a couple that I wanted to do. Sure. Okay, outside of R, let's talk outside of R. Favorite German wine region or producer? I'd rather you go producer though.
There are freaking many
Don't
nice.
piss up your friends.
I would go for Peter Wagner in Baden.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, Dave and I have homework to do then. Very cool. Okay, awesome. You've probably got to run. You've got, vines to tend for. I know you said you've got a meeting. It's 5:30 now.
Yes.
Your meeting includes a bottle of wine.
I'm leaving now, and but thanks for the invitation. And Dave, see you in a month with the whole of your family, right?
We'll see you
and
soon.
Some olives.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Lucas. This was awesome. I'm going to come visit you soon as well. I won't be there in July, but I will. I'll come see you before that. I'm around the corner.
Yes, we have to.
Oh, I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No. I said we have to do a second picture in the cellar.
Yeah.
We have a second one.
And eventually, I don't think this year, but eventually we will drink this together. And this.
And this, and this, and this.
Very cool.
Okay.
Thank
so
you,
enjoy the view.
Look
and
at that.
That's
bye.
Thanks, Lucas. See ya.
Thank you.
See you.
Salut.
Bye. Bye, Dave.
Cool. All right,
Very
Dave,
cool.
are you convinced about German wine?
I mean, I've only had 2 glasses, so in my life.
In
No,
your
that's not
life.
true. I came and drank. I remember a couple of years ago, we came for Provine, and we went to Project Riesling
Concept
with a bunch
Riesling.
of MWs, Concept Riesling,
Mhm.
with a bunch of MWs, and you and me and like 3 or 4 MWs
Mhm.
hung out like in a back corner of Project Concept Riesling,
Concept Riesling.
and they kept bringing up like crazy old German Pinot,
Nico.
and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was
and
great.
that was kind of my first real introduction to German Pinot.
Oh my God.
And that's, I think that I bought this not long after that. I remember I ordered it and it got shipped, and it's like I had forgotten that I have it. And then I was like, well, I was kind of looking to see what should I drink, and I'm like, I recognize that name.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I've got to say.
This is the first bottle I've opened. I've had it for 2 years. It's the first bottle I've opened.
Well, awesome. And which vintage do you have again? Sorry. You've got the
22.
22. Okay. Yeah. Give it a minute.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to decant it, I think, after this.
Cool. Okay. So you have to do the puzzle. I have to send you some more German wine so that we can get you fully immersed. But yeah,
Fair.
that Concept Riesling night, I can remember.
I blame you. I blame you for me not knowing anything about German wine.
Bullshit.
No, it's your fault. I
gave you a map, a regional map, and you didn't open the box.
I didn't put it. It's a 1,000 pieces. Are you high? Do you know how many bottles of wine it's going to take me to put that together?
I got to tell you, have you ever played and sorry for the audience who's like, this is a ramble, but have you ever done an escape game, like board game?
No.
It's supposed to I did a level 3 out of 5 the other day with a group of friends. It's supposed to take 60 to 90 minutes. Took us 3 nights. 3. Yeah. So, but there was wine involved. That's explaining it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
For sure.
Okay. So we have got just under 10 minutes left, or just about 10 minutes. We always have kind of a theme. Every week we have a wine theme. Obviously today was the R region. As I said, one of the gems of Europe, I don't want to say up and coming. The R is a long-standing, incredible reputation. Lucas, rising star winemaker, very up and coming. So be sure to check out his selection if you can get any of it. Rare, forced scarcity, all that good stuff that we always talk about.
This is the highest rated wine from the R in 2022.
Not
this
surprised.
bottle that I have here.
Not surprised. And your label is a lot shinier than mine. But yeah, that was what a story. I can remember watching all of that on the news.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, it was insane. Really, really, really sad. Like, I've heard so many stories that, you don't sleep at night. So on another note, though, positive, forward thinking, we always have a second content theme. So we had our wine Wednesday theme, but then Dave always puts out a long form article on Sundays, and Dave put out an article about Bacchus AI this past Sunday. I hope you read it. If you didn't, you can find it on news.dvinlabs.com. But basically, Bacchus solves all kinds of things. He's our incredible AI Bloomberg terminal for wine, helping collectors get smarter and casual drinkers turn to serious cellar builders, hopefully, over time. But yeah, Dave, do you want to give like a little kind of summary? Since we're a little shorter on time, I was going to grill you, but do you want to give like
on Bacchus?
Yeah.
So look, the story is actually pretty cool. We started tokenizing wine a few years ago. For a long time, it was a manual process. And like we hired a team of somms, and like every time we wanted to tokenize a bottle, there'd be a somm who'd like go and do all the research. If you've ever seen like what a digital cork looks like, it has all the metadata, right? We make sure and have all of the metadata for every bottle, and it's all on chain. That we thought that's kind of like part of part of what we're doing. We think it's important. So we spent a lot of time and a lot of money. But what we realized is there was no way we were going to be able to tokenize 3 billion bottles a year if we were doing them all by hand. Every year. So this is kind of interesting. So it's about 30,000 independent winemakers around the world. Every year, because every year it's a new vintage, right? So like if you have a bottle of Smirnoff, it doesn't really change from year to year. Like the metadata is the same. Whiskey, the metadata is the same. Like beer, most things, the product doesn't change from year to year. But for wine, it really does. Like it changes. A lot of things change. The alcohol level, the component blends, the yeast. There's a bunch of things. The scores. Like it's a different product. The 2021 that you're drinking is a different product from the 2022 that I'm drinking.
Yeah.
So every year in the wine industry, with 30,000 independent winemakers, there are about 100,000 new SKUs.
That is
100,000 new SKUs.
insane.
And I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, which is like, if you live in a place where they sell alcohol in grocery stores, then when you walk into a grocery store, one important thing for you to know is that there are more wine SKUs than any other single product. And when you think about it, of course that's true, right? Like how many different kinds of butter are there? How many different kinds of apples? How many different kinds of cereal and soup?
My mind went to chocolate bars.
Yeah, how many different kinds of chocolate bars? But wine has more SKUs. If you walk down the wine aisle, there are, 100, 200, 250 SKUs. And that's a small, that's just one aisle. If you've got a relatively small wine selection at your grocery store, right? Like if it's a big grocery store with a lot of wines then they've got many more SKUs. So when you think about it, a grocery store is really just a wine shop with a couple extra things. That's how I look at it. Every grocery store is a wine shop with a couple extra things. But my point with that is, in order for us to create digital corks around 100,000 new SKUs every year, we weren't going to be able to do that manually. Like there aren't enough SOMs. So we needed to build something smart, a smart agent that would do it. Say it again.
Bring in the robot.
So we brought in the robots. So that's how we developed Bacchus. The original idea was Bacchus was just for helping us to create digital corks. But what we found out after working on it for about a year is that Bacchus is really smart. Not only does it know everything about wine and can like identify any wine, but it can also tell you like a lot about about that wine. It knows scores, it knows tasting notes, it knows food pairing suggestions. It can give you the history of the wine, give you the history of the winemaker. It can tell you like what's unique about the wine, what's unique about the vineyard, what's unique about the winemaking for that particular wine. Like all of that information is inside of Bacchus. And then we started feeding it pricing data. So now Bacchus not only knows everything there is to know about wine, but it knows about wine trading. So what Bacchus really is like it's like a pocket SOM, but it's also a Bloomberg terminal for wine. And there are some really cool killer features, and we're really excited about it.
Okay. I mean, sounds like you're leading up to telling us how to engage with Bacchus.
I am. So right now it's on Twitter, and like we'll put in the notes here. We'll give you a link so that you can go and talk to Bacchus. Bacchus is pretty active on Twitter, and as Jana always says, very spicy.
He's so spicy.
He's very spicy.
Oh my God.
It makes poor Jana blush.
It makes me blush. It makes me blush. I have to always think of my mother, Shout out to Mom. I know she always watches the Wine Wednesday. So
if your mom's on Twitter, she sees worse than this.
She's not on Twitter. My mom is not on Twitter. My mom is on Instagram, where the wine moms are. Okay. She's not on Twitter.
Well, can't we, when we screenshot Bacchus for Instagram, can't we like censor out all of the like
We would
horrible
get
things that he
shut
says.
down hard on Instagram if we unleashed Bacchus on Instagram. Oh my God, Meta would break. Like we'd break it. Anyways.
Anyway, so Twitter is where you can interact with Bacchus right now. There's also a Telegram channel that's invite only right now, but very soon we're launching an app where you'll be able to interact with Bacchus, and you can do a bunch of things. Like so we'll have a free version. With the free version, you can ask Bacchus anything about any wine, and you can there's a couple of cool things. You can take a picture of a bottle, and it'll tell you everything there is to know about that wine. Or you can take a picture of a wine list at a restaurant, and it'll tell you which wine is the best price to value, which wine is the highest rated, which wine is the most rare. And that's kind of the free level. Go ahead, Jana. What were you gonna say?
No, I just was thinking, I wonder if Bacchus is smart enough to know that when he sees a label like this, that he's going to be like, oh, like that's a flood wine. Like there's history behind that actual specific rare label.
There's only one way to find out, Jana.
I agree. Yeah. I have the free the beta version, the invite only beta version that we are taking bribes in Sermon.
Bribes in wine.
For.
We'll give you access for wine for sure.
Access.
I mean, wine. Depending on the wine that you send, like no plunk.
Right.
So, but pretty soon we'll launch an app. And in the app, you'll be able to the app is pretty cool. So you'll be able to do all of those things. And then with the pro version, you can upload your portfolio. It'll tell you what to buy, what to sell, what to drink, what to lay down. It'll tell you
you have way too much. First, what it's not going to tell you is that you have too much R wine, because obviously it wouldn't tell you that.
Nobody has too much R wine.
Nobody has too much because you can't get that much. But anyway. It might tell you to, rebalance your portfolio because you got too much from Napa, or you've got, you're too Bordeaux heavy or whatever. It'll tell you. It's very cool. I am going to, in the interest of time, I'm going to cut your ramble. You let me ramble for the first.
I'm done. I'm done with my ramble. I'm drinking wine. I got better things to do with my mouth.
Yeah. All right. Good. Then drink your wine. I will say that if you're interested in testing our AI now for free, not on Twitter, where he's so spicy that it makes me worry about if my mom might ever join Twitter, then check out Telegram. There's a free version right now that has been live for months, and it's so cool. It is Wine Guy. So we've been talking about Bacchus. Bacchus is your, as we said, Bloomberg terminal for wine. Super great insights on, wine investment. He's monitoring all the auctions and giving you real-time feedback on what's happening in the investment scene. But if you're looking for a pocket sommelier, then go onto Telegram and add your new friend, Wine Guy. The handle is @wineguy_bot. And you're just going to be able to ask him anything about wine. You can upload a picture of a bottle and he will give you all the metadata and basically build you a digital cork for your bottle, not on chain, because we're not giving that away for free. But anyways, so now I'm getting sassy like Bacchus. But that's it on the AI front for now. Just be sure to play around, give us your feedback. We do have one thing in the comments that I have to draw some attention to. Someone on YouTube said about Sermon wines, Lucas, this is for you. It sounds like a good wine for Club dVIN allocation NFT tokens. And I have to agree.
That's interesting. That's an interesting thought.
It's rare and it is super high quality and it is super delicious. And we will have to be very, very nice to Lucas. And Dave will have to be very nice to Lucas when he visits in July. And maybe we don't unleash Bacchus on Lucas yet, because I'm afraid that might ruin our shot if Bacchus is too spicy. But anyways, great idea. We will talk to Lucas about that. So thanks for that. We are at time. Did I forget anything, Dave? Are we missing any major updates?
No, nothing else. That's cool. Good.
Excellent.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for joining, and huge thanks to Lucas.
Thanks, Lucas.
Awesome.
Cheers.
All right.
Salud.
Bye, guys. Drink more German wine. Empty. Mine's empty. I win. Bye.
Bye.